I could do all of them. It'd be amazing. Have no idea. And then you sit there for looking at the courses for a month because you still don't know.
Yes.
So that is very daunting. So that's amazing that this is Operation Navigators covering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And so Operation Navigator was born out of Operation Compass.
Yes.
Can you give a quick overview of what Operation Compass is?
So Operation Compass came about as more like a investigation into veteran suicide, really, from the suicide prevention piece. So Operation Compass really looked at how, what are the biggest impacts on mental health, and why were people in the ADF, when they left the ADF, killing themselves?
Yep.
What were the biggest impacts? And transition is such a hard piece for so many veterans, because you're leaving the safety net of the ADF, where you've got so many support networks, your camaraderie. They do everything for you.
Everywhere you look, there's someone.
Exactly. And then to transition out and kind of lose that camaraderie and lose that connection and that identity. There was a lot of times within my period post-transition where I was like, who am I when I don't have a uniform on? What's my purpose in life? What do I have to offer? Because you intrinsically, when you're in defence, introducing yourself to someone for the first time, what is it? Service, trade, your rank, whatever it might be.
It's and then you get out,
and you're like, who am I?
I wore a uniform once, but I don't anymore.
Yes.
And so it's really you do get lost.
Yeah.
It's quite hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you got nothing to go into. Like for me, I did 15 years in the army. I got out and I didn't know what my passions were or my hobbies were or anything. Like my whole 15 years, like I drank alcohol and all that stuff in it. That was my fun, but the rest was army. Like everything I did, I didn't do things on the weekends. Like it was all. And so when I got out, then I didn't have army, I didn't have any hobbies, I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything because I got medically discharged. I sat on the couch for a year and a half, smoking weed, getting further and further depressed, drinking, getting angry, to the point where I was in mental hospitals in and out. And so it's amazing that Oasis is here, Operation Navigator's here, Operation, what was the other one? Compass has happened. I've got some notes when I do the podcast next with John about that.
Yeah.
So what is Oasis doing for veterans and the community now? So this morning I came here and there's a gunfire breakfast and I saw a 2RL, a lot of 2RL members were here, which was amazing. And from what I could tell, veterans from all over. But what are the services that Oasis offers other than like linking health services? Do you offer like challenges? Do you offer grants or community funding? Is there like what else can draw a veteran to Oasis to help you?
So for us, we are the link between veterans and the greater community. So where we don't specifically offer like services in-house. But what we do is link them into the people that are best suited to deliver those things. The biggest thing for us is to make sure that a veteran doesn't have to tell their story twice. That was massive. That was a massive finding from the Royal Commission.
It's huge.
We don't want veterans having to retell their story over and over again every time they walk into someone else's office.
There's someone sitting in this room now that's told their story 100,000 times. And he doesn't want to go to the doctors anymore because he's sick of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Re-traumatizing, right? So we don't want that. We are here to put you in touch with people who are best suited to help you with what your specific needs are. We also run out of the Oasis, we run a lot of social connection activities because social connection is so important for veterans.
100%.
Refinding that camaraderie again, finding that community and helping to alleviate that isolation is huge for us.
Let people that they're not alone.
Correct.
Like that loneliness feeling, it's pretty,
It is rough.
Yeah.
It is really rough.
yeah. And you can be alone in a room full of people, and
Yes.
it's, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely found that when I transitioned out, I'd spent 10 years in the Air Force. I joined at 17. I basically grew up in defence.
Yep.
So all I knew was defence as well.
Yep.
And then I left defence, and I was so lost, but surrounded by people who were civilians, a lot of creative people. I really pushed into that creative space, but there was this lack of understanding of what I was going through.
Yep.
They had no background in defence. They had no understanding of the defence life, and why I felt like I'd lost my identity when I'd left defence and took the uniform off.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely that feeling of isolation and loneliness is huge.
Did you move back home, like to your hometown?
No.
No?
So I originally grew up in a small country town in northern New South Wales, and my whole family relocated from there. So I didn't actually go home. I found my home in my last posting locality.
Awesome. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good. That's good. Because a lot of people, like veterans, when they get out, they normally go back to their hometown.
Yes.
And normally their hometown isn't filled with other veterans or defence members, or with people that understand so when you go back home, even though you're surrounded by family, you're alone.